Hi, this is Cheryl of Majestic Wire Artworks. Today I'm teaching you the final piece of the Celtic style wrap series. And this is the Celtic style wrap diamond earrings. And we're going to continue with using the same beads. So the whole set's pretty much going to match. And so these are 4x6 millimeter rondelle beads. And we're using 20 gauge, which is 0.81 millimeter soft copper wire. We need two 12-inch pieces. I have your supply list in the description as well, just like normal. And you can mirror these earrings, but it's not crucial to mirror them. So if you just want to, I'm just making one for you today, but if you really want to mirror, this is a trick. Okay, so this twisted wire here on this earring, it's the left side that's on the top, and you would do the reverse for a mirrored one. You would make it the right one on top, and to make the spiral come the different direction, this wire's coming from behind, so it was from behind to the left, and then I spiraled it and then brought it around and did the flip, and you'll see that later on in the tutorial. And if you were to mirror this, you would take a wire that's from the right instead. So it's pretty easy going that way, but yet it is a very finicky earring to make. So that's why I recommend making both of them the same until you're feeling more confident with the design. These have been a pretty good seller for me. So if you're selling jewelry, you might find that you'll need to make several pairs. Okay, so let's begin. So I want you to take two of your 20 gauge wires, 0.81 millimeters, and measure it 3 inches from the left. And if you're left-handed, you would go probably the right. And you'd want to keep your ruler handy because measurements are very important with these earrings. So 3 inches. And that's just an approximation, and I'll get the metric for you once I measure it. Okay, 3 inches is about 7 centimeters. So again, it's approximate. It was a tad more than 7 centimeters, but 7 centimeters will be just fine. So I want you at that point, so I've got my nail there, I want you to take the pliers at the left-hand side of that mark and hold the two wires together, and we're going to start twisting, and we want it to have a precise end. That's why we're using the pliers. So twist. Oh dear. Well, I'm going to fix this up. Okay, I'm putting it back in the pliers because I know that if I do it with my hand, it's going to get messy at the end, and I don't want it messy. Okay. Being difficult. Okay. Now, we want to get an inch of nice wrapping, twisting made, but I want to fix this up before I get too close to the end. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to use this part of it as a plier to hold that still right there at the end. Okay, and I'm going to fix this up. The twist isn't good enough there. And I'm going to just twist it up a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to try fixing it just like we did with the twisted heart. Make sure that it looks good, or else I'll be starting all over again. There we go, it's fixed. Good, good, good. That makes me happy. Okay, and I want to see how long we have. Of the twist. Okay, so we need to get 3/16 longer. And I'm going to again hold this in the plier. I'm very right-handed. Okay, 2 twists maybe. Let's measure it again. Oh, a little bit more. I'm just going to do 1 twist. Okay, let's see how that is. I'm going to measure that again without the plier. Thought I could be lazy and keep hanging on to it. Yes, it's 1 inch. Okay, I want to fix up this end a little bit and fix up that end a little bit. Because if you don't, then the earrings don't look as finished and precise. And we want this wire to be perfectly straight as well. And besides, this work hardens it. You don't want to squeeze too hard that it mars the wire too badly, but enough to insist that it's going to be straight. Okay, got it. Okay, so now we want to do a loop here that is, let's see, counterclockwise. Okay, like that. And spread these wires apart because we're going to introduce the beads with the Celtic style wrap. Okay, there we go. And I curved that, so we'll have to straighten that again, but it won't take much work. Okay, so now we want the 2 beads that are the same height to be on the top, and then 1 in the middle at the bottom to make that diamond shape. Okay, so we want a bit of a space, not too much, as long as you see how it's, this wire's hugging that wire. It's got a little bit of space. Let's see, I would say that's a good millimeter, almost 2. Okay, now I'm gonna frame this bead with the lower wire. Okay, like that. Make sure it's pushed down. Okay, and now I'm going to put a bead on the lower wire. And the top wire is going to frame it. And I want a tiny bit of a space there, but not too much, just so that the framing wire has a place to go. Okay. Do you see how that lifted up on me? So I just pushed it down. Okay, and now I'm going to put another bead on the top wire. This is definitely a trickier pair of earrings to make, and I kid you not, I sometimes don't succeed in making it, and it takes 2 tries to make an earring. Of course, if you do a bunch in a row, it makes it a lot easier because then you know exactly what you're doing. Okay, so you see how we did this counterclockwise? Well, now we want, well, actually, from the front it looks clockwise. We want this one from the front to look counterclockwise, but I'm going to flip it upside down to do it from the back, so that so it's a true opposite of this, and we're going to do it clockwise from the back. Okay, so we see how there's that space there. We want to kind of have that same space here, so I'm going to bend it here to get it started. See how it's got that similar space. Okay. Take precautions like that and give that little bend. It'll help. Whoops, I bumped my camera, sorry. That your swirl will go the way it's supposed to. Okay, and you're not going to get it perfect. It's hard to do. Okay, so that's pretty close though. And now we're going to twist again. So we want this to be about up like that. And the twisting will start right here. Okay. So spread these apart. And now we don't need the plier because that's going to hold it. But we need the wires in a V. And again, we want precisely 1 inch. So much easier twisting this side. Okay, I'm going to measure that. I know I'm not 1 inch, but I want to know how much more I need to go. Okay. 4 or 5 twists. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, went a little wonky there. Okay, let's measure that. Okay. Oh, and you know what? I am glad it did that. Okay, usually there's 2 options. If this was a looser twist than this, I would... Is it? It's pretty close. Okay, so that's not the option. I would twist it up more because it would shorten it. But because we don't have that option, I'm actually going to untwist till we get to 1 inch. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty close. It's a little bit loose here. Okay. And I'm going to straighten it. I'm going to measure it again. It's not straight, I can see that, but it's pretty close to being bang on 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to bring out that other earring. And I am reversing these. And I'm putting the right one over top of the left one. Okay. So I tend to compare. So it's going to be like that. Okay. See if that helps. You want it to be the same on both sides, and see how there's a difference there. And now, which one's more like this one? I'd say this one's closer, so I'm going to spread this out a little bit more here. Bend it further out. See how I did that? Okay. I'm just gonna don't want it to look lopsided. This sticking out a little bit more, I think. Okay, I want this one to stick out a little bit more, so I'm going to stretch this out, bend that in. So I just stretched out the curl a little bit. Okay, let's see if that makes a difference. And now they're wider. Okay. I think I want to see it. I knew this would be difficult to make on camera. That's why I left it for last, I think. Compare those. I think we got it pretty close. Okay, now I'm going to straighten these wires. Straight, and you can straighten it out a little bit after they're made, but it's harder. Okay, so I did the left on front. I want the right on front here. Now, does that look? No, this one needs to be further in. So they gotta look like they're a nice diamond. You'll have to excuse me. I gotta let my cat out again. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm back. And now I think I'm happy with the shape of this. I'd say they're pretty close. And if yours isn't close, just keep playing with it and doing things until you're happy with it, because you won't be able to fix it as easily later on. Okay, so now I've got these two crossed right where the twists end, and it's the same height as the other earrings. I double checked that too. And I just want you to give it a twist to lock it in place. Okay. So now we've got 4 wires here. Okay, I'm just spreading it out for you to see. Okay, remember how I've said to do this spiral, I had used a wire that was from the back and to the left, and because the way we did the opposite, laying it, this one's the left on the front and this one's the right on the front, it automatically placed my 2 wires here from the back on the right hand side. So you would use one of these to make the spiral. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to, this center on the right, we're going to leave these 2 down and this one down, and we want to make the loop for the earring out of this center wire. Okay, so we're going to make that loop, and we want to see how high that is. Okay, so it's pretty much this, the one twist is the whole depth. So I'm going to push this wire over like this, using my fingernail to bend it, and make a loop, a consistent size as the other one. If you don't remember what you did with the other one, measure it on your shank. Okay, that looks pretty round. And now I'm going to wrap it once around, nice and tight. Okay, now I'm going to flatten this loop because it usually gets a little distorted. Okay, not as round as it was, so I'm going to round it out a little bit. Okay, that's good. And now I want to take, this gives it strength, I'm going to take all of these and wrap it around once and snip it. So I want, and this one too. Yes, need to do that one first, I think. I'm taking it to the bottom and leaving it there. Okay, and now these are all getting wrapped once and snipped off very close at the front. And what the spiral has a multi-purpose, and usually I do the multi-purpose things in my designs on purpose, because the spiral is gonna cover all the ends and make it so they don't poke anybody. So I'm gonna crimp that end in, and we want it at the front. Okay. And it doesn't need to be neat. It's impossible to make it neat. Snip that off. I might have to snip that off shorter. I think I probably will. I'm going to crimp that in around. And I know I'm bending the twisted wire underneath me. I can feel it. Well, maybe not. Felt like I was. Okay. Okay, I'm going to snip that shorter. Peep over the camera. Aha. There we go. Crimp it down. And I'm going to do that with this top one and it's twisting my loop. Twist the loop back. I'm going to hold the loop while I do it then. There, that's the ticket. Snip that off as close as possible. Crimp it down. I'm going to have to straighten out the loop with the round nose pliers again. Okay, I see that it's wonky that way. I'm going to straighten that out. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap this again. Kind of locked everything into place. Now it's from the back, and now I want to measure from the center of that core there, 1 1.25, no, 1 1/8 inch. 1 1/8 inch. I don't know what that is in millimeters, but I'll measure it with millimeters once I've done snipping it. Okay. Okay, got that there, got that there. It's all lined up. Okay, and in millimeters, it is 29 millimeters. Okay, so now we're going to coil that in, and we want it to be a neat coil, so you'll have to do your best to make it a nice, neat coil. So we want that bud to be tiny, and we're doing it downwards towards the bottom of the earring. Crimp that in. See, got that nice and neat. Grab it firmly. I'm going to crimp, no, I'm going to bend it a little bit more. Crimp it in. We want it always to be hugging it tight, no airspace there. Makes a difference with this pair of earrings to be really neat. Okay, see how I crunched it too much? I'm just going to push it down, and it went back into place. I love it when I make little errors like that. I mean, or that the wire does it, because then I can show you how I fix it. Okay, it's looking good. Is there an airspace there? A little bit. I'm going to push it together. Okay. And I think I need to go a little bit more. This is practice. Okay, now I'm going to flip it to the front. And you want it to be on top. And now if you'd made the coil too big, you can always undo it a little bit. Okay. Oh, got airspace happening. Okay, I want this flat, straight. How's that look? Okay, did it move on me? It's a little bit, I moved on me a little bit this way. So I'm gonna straighten that out. A lot of work goes in these earrings. This is one earring and I've got 30 minutes here going. So, okay. Okay, I think I have this one a little bit wider than that one. So the coil went a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to try putting it up like that. Made it a little bit bigger. Let's see. It's pretty close. A pair of earrings, when each one's sitting on a different ear, nobody will know. And they're handmade, so there's going to be differences. Okay, so ready for the ear wire. And there. One set of earrings. I love these earrings. And when the wire gets really dark, they look really cool because the airspace in the middle really shows off. Okay, so talk to you soon. See you at the next video. This is the end of this series. I'm not sure what I'm making next. I have to think about that. Okay, so bye for now.